Okay, Charlie here making bread. I call this the easiest bread recipe in the world. And I got it from a number of sources, but you'll see how easy it is. I have my flour, my water, my yeast, my salt, and of course I have a glass of wine. So here goes. 3 cups of flour. Your Cuisinart, use the metal blade, not the dough blade if you have one. 3 cups of flour. 1, 2, 3. I'll put the top on the Cuisinart. I give it a little pop. Now I'm going to put in the other dry ingredients. 2 teaspoons of Fleischmann's dry yeast. If you make a lot of bread, you want to buy one of these little jars. 2 teaspoons of coarse kosher salt. Okay, I give that a little pop to mix up the dry ingredients. Now, a cup of tepid water. I'm going to turn it on, and 30 seconds later, the dough will be ready. So here we go. Right in the spout. Now it should make a ball here. You can see it start to make the ball. See that? It's turning it over. If it doesn't make a ball, just put a little bit more water in. Okay. Now how easy was that? I'm going to take it out of the Cuisinart container. I'm going to put it in a Tupperware that has a few drops of olive oil in it, or any kind of oil you want to use. The oil helps coat the bread, the dough, while it's rising. So I'm going to take it out of here, get it off the blade like that. And I'll just quickly put it into a little bit of a ball like this, not anything special. Okay, now I'm going to put it in here where I have a little bit of oil, and I'm going to roll it around a little bit, like that. Get some of the oil on it. And that's it. I'm going to cover it with saran wrap, put a towel over it, put it in a warm spot for a couple of hours till it doubles in size. You can leave it there for 3 or 4 or 5 hours if you need to. It doesn't matter. So that's how simple it is. We'll be back to form the dough next. Okay, Charlie here, back with the second part of making bread. This morning, or 4 or 5 hours ago, we made the dough and I put it in this Tupperware to let it double in size. It's at least doubled in size. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some flour on my board here. Put some flour in my hand. I'll get it out of this bowl. See, it just kind of like, you put that little bit of oil in there to let it come out of the bowl easier, and here it comes. So it's a big blob. Okay, see that? Now you could make one piece of bread out of this really big piece of dough. But what I do, since it's just 2 of us, I separate this into quarters. Now watch what happens here. I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. Alright? Okay, now I got the 4 pieces. You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to make all these today. I only need 1 of these to make a nice size roll for tonight's dinner. So I'm going to put these 3 aside. What I do with them is I take a piece of saran wrap and wrap each one individually. Put them in the refrigerator. They can be in there for a day, 2 days, 5 days. It doesn't matter. You get them out on the day you want to make bread, and there you go. Your dough's all ready to go. But for today, I'm going to do this one little one right here. Now here's my piece of dough. See this? You could make it into a long, traditional French bread, but I'm going to do what's called a boule, which is a little round one. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Not good with languages. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to turn it inside on itself like this. You know, turn it over and over, turning the top over onto the bottom like this, sort of like a mushroom cap in a way, until I do it like 5 or 6 times. And then I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to pinch the bottom shut with my fingers like that. Okay? Pinch the bottom shut. Okay, so now I have this little half mound like this. I'm going to put it on my peel. Here's the peel. And the peel has cornmeal on it. The cornmeal is so it can slide off easily. And then I'm going to put some flour on top of it, because before I bake it, I'm going to want to slit the top with a single-edged razor blade. The flour lets you do that, otherwise it would be too sticky and it would be pulling. And the same bowl that I used to let it rise in, I'm going to put over top of it, just like that. Now I'm going to put it in a warm spot, like this, with a towel over it, until it doubles in size. You know, an hour, a couple hours, could be even longer. And then we'll be ready to bake it. So that's step 2. Be back later for the baking. Okay, Charlie here, back with making bread. I'll have a drink of wine first. Previous time you saw me take the dough out and form it into a boule, which is the round bread form. You know, I do a small one because it's only 2 of us. You can do it bigger and bigger and bigger. You can have a nice big loaf of bread in the round form. You know, for a big meal, a lot of people, it would be kind of impressive to do that. But usually when we have French bread, we think of the long, stick-looking bread, the baguette. So I'm going to show you how I do the baguette. Here's my piece of dough. Now remember, I had 4 pieces that I cut and I put in the refrigerator. This one didn't go in the refrigerator, it just is fresh. But either way, you know, I want to stretch it out a little bit like this, like I'm making a pizza almost. See, I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. Now I'm going to fold it over on itself like this a couple times. See that I folded it over, and I'm going to stretch it out a little bit more. Then I'm going to fold it over on itself again. That's to get a little bit of layering in there, you know. Now on where the seams are, I'm going to pinch it. See that? The dough is fairly moist, so I can pinch it closed. Alright. See that? It's pinching up nice and tight. Now the reason why I want to do that, because now I'm going to roll it out and make it into the long French bread look. See this? You can just start doing it like this if you want. You can squeeze it out a little bit if you like doing it this way, like pulling it out, squeezing it. Either way, you want to get it down to a size, you know, not as small as a quarter, maybe between $1.25 and $1/2 in size. Now, you know, sometimes you see breadsticks that are real tiny. I guess they get them real small, but before they let them rise. You know, we're going to do the second rise with this, but first we're going to get it stretched out a little bit. I might have to pinch the ends a little bit more. Okay, there you go. So you can see what I'm doing here. It's getting longer and thinner. Okay, that'll work. Now I have this pan that I put cornmeal in there, or else it'll stick to the pan. You can also buy that spray, Baker's Pride stuff, and spray that in there if you don't want it to stick. All I'm going to do is put it in here, like this, in the pan. Once again, it has to go through its second rise, so I'll put it in a warm spot, put some flour on it, because I'm also going to slice the top of this with a razor blade. Cover it, let it rise, double in size, a couple hours, and then we'll bake it. So that's the baguette form. Okay, Charlie here. Back to bake the bread, which is probably the easiest of all the steps. I have the oven heated up to 420 degrees, and I have a pizza stone in there. I like to do my bread on a pizza stone. You don't have to do it that way, but I think it is better. Here's the bread that's been rising for a couple of hours, the boule. You can see it's a little round nub here. Now I'm going to slash the top of it with the razor blade. It kind of lets it breathe. I'll step in here a little closer. See this? I'm going to put a big slash on the top of this. Now you can put whatever you want. You can put 2 slashes, you can put an X. Doesn't matter, but that lets the center of the bread open up and cook a little better. And you can see it's on cornmeal. So anyway, 420 degree oven, a pizza stone. I'm going to push this in there. It'll slide right off. Watch this. It'll just slide right off. Now another trick to getting a nice crispy crust is to put some moisture in the oven. Some people spray it, but I don't go into all that. I just toss a little water in the bottom of the oven with this cup. See that? You can hear it steam up. After about 10 minutes, I'll turn the temperature down to 370 or so. And a little piece like this only going to take 15 or 20 minutes. I don't really time it anymore. I just look at the crust and see if it's nice and brown like I like it. Take a little drink of wine here. Anyway, the easiest part I just did. We'll get back in a minute. I'll take it out. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, Charlie here for the best part, which is taking the bread out of the oven and eating it, because there's absolutely nothing like homemade fresh bread out of the oven. And this is such an easy recipe. Here it is. It's on the pizza stone. I'll just get it out there. I'll bring it over close to the camera so you can see it. You can see where I put the flour on there. You can see the little X that I cut in it. And it's just wonderful. I mean, you know, once you do it a few times, you'll be like, wow, I think I need to do this a lot, which is what I do. So anyway, all I can say is make bread.